Huge news out of Herschend Family Entertainment. They have acquired over 20 properties across 10 U.S. states from Palace Entertainment.
That is a move that I did not see coming.
It's pretty wild. Herschend has been on an upwards trajectory in terms of growth and like expanding their portfolio. We saw that a couple of years ago with Kentucky Kingdom, and they just like doubled the size of their company. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And it's not limited to just theme parks. There's water parks, there's FECs, there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, campgrounds, hotels. Palace Entertainment is a subsection of Parques Reunidos, which is a European group. So this is their U.S. division. And so they have acquired all these properties from. So effectively, Palace Entertainment is no longer in the theme park scene, which is crazy because when you think about like the big dogs in the theme park scene across the U.S., they were one of them. They operate a lot of the mid-size parks like Kennywood, Adventureland, Iowa, Storyland in New Hampshire, Idlewild, a bunch of water parks. And so now all of them are part of Herschend.
Yeah, so I think looking at Parques Reunidos first, this gives them the opportunity to now focus more heavily on their European properties.
Yeah.
Which they have some nice ones. Like I know Tusenfried is a great park that we both really like.
Absolutely, yeah. They operate Babylonland. There's a bunch of them across. And so
Bonbonland, I believe.
Bonbonland, I think, is one of them. Yeah, so I mean, this is a big company. But Palace, I feel like, always kind of struggled in the theme park operational scene. They have a lot of good properties on paper, but how they were run, I think most people are in agreement, was not the best. Herschend is a much stronger theme park operator. Like you look at Dollywood, Silver Dollar, those are like the gold standards in how to run a theme park.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the U.S. portfolio that they are acquiring, a lot of them haven't received significant investment in a long time.
Yeah, it's been very hit or miss, which isn't uncommon when you have like a huge portfolio of parks. You even look in the Six Flags now mega chain, you can see how like certain parks are being treated a bit better than others.
Okay, I will go as far as to say Herschend falls under that.
Yeah.
Because you look at Dollywood, you look at Silver Dollar City, gold standards of theme parks, and then Kentucky Kingdom, finally they're starting to get some investment with this new area.
We'll see how that changes in the next couple of years. That's going to be one to watch.
And then Wild Adventures, I mean, I don't really do a whole lot for them.
Yeah, a lot of really small investments, nothing big.
Yeah, so but here's my concern. Is like, right now they run 4 major theme parks, and I would argue only 2 of them really get a ton of like money and love and investment, and the other 2 don't get much. So now I'm like, okay, they're going to acquire a ton more. Is that going to thin out the investment further?
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. I think it will really come down to the teams in place for these properties. One thing that they specifically mentioned is that they are hoping for a smooth transition of staff. I mean, we're gonna have to see how that evolves. Like I think about when that happened with Kentucky Kingdom. That was run under Ed Hart's team, and it was the same thing at first, where it was like the same team members from that staff, but then slowly over time it pretty much evolved into just Herschend employees.
A lot of got replaced.
A lot of those team members are no longer there. So I am curious what will happen here. I mean, this is on a much larger scale. As of now, they have said that they're hoping they'll be smooth. They said there's going to be no immediate planned changes operationally. Their priorities are the employees and generally just improving the guest experience, which we can agree they are industry leaders on.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm.
I am particularly optimistic about places like Kennywood, Lake Compounce, and Adventureland, Iowa, because I feel like those 3 have a lot of potential. And even as you're walking around, you can see how that could operate well as a Herschend park. The foundations are there, and there were sprinkles of investment over the past couple of years that have been positive. I know not everyone has loved a lot of the things that has happened to those parks the past couple of years, but I think there are some things that we can look at that have been done well, like Adventureland has done some nice repaints. There's been a couple new attractions that are nice. Hopefully this means that things will just continue to get better.
I hope so. I just don't want to see it come at the expense of a lot of employees. And I feel like that's not off the table. I'm sure some people got this memo and they're like, uh-oh.
Right.
Like, am I going to keep my job? Because Herschend has, like, a very particular type of, like, staff that they like to have. Like, a very particular mindset. And, sometimes it's easier just to start with someone from scratch rather than take someone who has the learned habits of like their old, employer.
Absolutely. They said that the sale is not yet complete, but it will be very soon. It was interesting seeing the social media reactions when this news came through. It was almost unanimously positive.
Yeah.
Which I think points to maybe people's lack of confidence in how Palace is currently running. Places like Compounce or Adventureland or Kennywood, or people's confidence in just Herschend in general. That they're like, we believe that this is the better operator.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it is a mix of both.
I think it's both. I really do. And I think, specifically the three big ones that you mentioned, you're not wrong. They have a lot of potential. They just are kind of at a point where it almost feels stagnant. Mm-hmm. I can't really remember the last big thing from Kennywood. A big announcement or a big moment,
Steel Curtain in 2019.
Yeah,
I guess.
But that's still a long time ago. I feel like mentally 2019 doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but we're going on 6 years.
6 years, yeah. I'd say the big things they've been doing is just kind of refreshing things, giving some nice paint and stuff, which does go a long way. That absolutely helps with atmosphere.
Park looks great. It really does.
Our last visit was very positive. We had a great experience.
Yeah, and Adventureland. I had my first visit last year, and there were parts of it that I was very impressed by, and there were parts of it that
right. So hopefully this can then bring up those weak spots, so it's a bit more of on an even playing field.
Yeah, and Lake Compounce is very
hit
or miss.
I think they need some help. I think they could really, really benefit from this change.
It's in a great location.
Yeah.
Right? It is in a very populated area. I just feel like it's not fully taking advantage of that.
I would say the best thing they've done in the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years was maybe Phobia. And that's a skyrocket too, so.
Well, they're doing some retracking and stuff.
Retracking is
nice,
good. That is positive.
Yeah.
But I think there's other things that they could be doing too. I'm overall satisfied with this. The one thing that I think will be interesting to watch is kind of what we've been reiterating with the Six Flags merger is once you then bring on all these properties, they just acquired the full Palace Entertainment portfolio. Does Herschend really want all of these properties? Maybe. But they might also want to sell some off.
Yeah.
It's
probably an all or nothing deal, though.
Exactly. And so there are some, real tiny places here that, even places we haven't been to.
They have a property in Hawaii.
They do.
That's cool.
It's a Sea Life, I think.
And then one in Australia that they acquired?
Yeah, but they said that they were only acquiring the U.S. one. So even though Palace operates one in Australia, I feel like that's an oddball.
That is very oddball.
I don't think they're actually keeping that one.
Okay.
As with these acquisitions or mergers, it's one of those things that things can look great on paper, but then depending on which direction they go with it, it could end up bringing on some tough things that you have to work through. Post-merger, we saw the downfall of Ka, which was pretty brutal, but then we were just recently at Six Flags Over Georgia, and we thought the park looked amazing, and those were changes that we probably wouldn't have seen.
I think this is true in all areas of life. When you make a decision that benefits one party, it can often be a disadvantage for another party. Maybe the guest experience will improve a lot. Maybe we'll get a bunch of new rides and coasters and investments and yada yada, but it might get tougher for employees.
Right. And the reality is we might not fully see a lot of those changes take place until a couple of years from now, as we've seen with Kentucky Kingdom. Yeah. I feel like 2025 is the first time that we're really seeing Herschend's
Herschendifying.
Yeah, the effect taking place, and that was acquired now several years ago.
Yeah, Wild Adventures is still waiting.
Yeah. That's a tough area. It's middle of nowhere.
I know.
I just feel bad for them.
I liked that park, though. The animal stuff is great. They just need better coasters, better rides.
Yeah, that's brutal. So, anyways, let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of this change? Absolutely huge news. If you think that there's anything we missed, also post that down below. And stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and we'll see you next time.